Welcome to another episode, everyone. OG Crip tried to return to a mainline yard after being ran off the yard and having went to a PC yard. He tried to sneak his way back onto the main line. This is more common than one may think. Let's call this individual Sneaky Cuz, because he was indeed sneaky. He tried to sneak his way back onto the main line after being ran off. This transpired there in Corcoran State Prison, where we were on the yard just chilling, minding our own business. Corcoran was indeed a very violent prison at this time, still is. And Sneaky Cuz hit the yard. And someone from his own faction recognized him. I don't remember exactly where Sneaky Cuz was from, but he was indeed a Crip. And when he hit the yard, his own homeboy said, wait a minute. This individual got ran off the yard there in another prison, let's say Folsom. He said, man, I was in Folsom with him. I remember it was some years ago, at least 10 years ago, when this incident transpired. Nevertheless, I was in Folsom with him, and he got into a situation up there. I don't recall exactly what the situation was as I sit here today, but he did explain it then, said that this individual had gotten into a very dire situation in which he was the culprit. It was determined, and he had to be removed from the yard, taken off. Now, at this time, there was no such thing as a 50-50 yard. SNY only, straight PC. Everyone over there is bad. They're not half of them are bad. Some of them didn't do anything. They just want to go home, and that's why they're over there. Every individual over there is bad, has got ran off the yard. These yards are very serious at this time. This is circa 1995. Things were still real at that juncture. And so this individual tried to sneak back onto the yard. Now, as I said, this is more common than you may think. I don't want to get away from the story too much of too long, but let me just say real quick why this tends to happen, in my opinion. Because again, it's been multiple occasions where individuals have went to an SNY yard, which stands for sensitive needs yard, which means protective custody. He has sensitive needs, meaning he needs to be protected. And have went over there for some time and called themselves letting things die down, letting people forget about what happened 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then they try to come back to the main line because they can't take it being over there. Again, this is before a 50-50 yard. Not half of these individuals are not okay. All of these individuals that are over here on this yard are pieces of trash. These individuals are no good. They bad peoples. Chomos, individuals who have snitched on prominent cases, individuals who have snitched on shot callers. There are bounties on these individuals' heads. They're over there in their flip-flops, their shower shoes with their shorts on. They haven't carried a knife in 10 years on this PCR. They are extremely soft. And if you have any stump down in you still, even though you've been removed from the yard, then you don't want to be over here with these dudes. Not for too long. You can't take it. Like, oh, no, man, no. I haven't fallen off this bad, bro. I'm not one of them. I'm not supposed to be over here. Again, this is not about a 50-50. Get that out your mind. I'm talking about a total PCR. 10 billion% PC filth. Can you imagine? No, you don't want to be over there with these dudes. So some individuals have tried after some time to come back to the main line. Sneaky cuz got removed from the yard, again, let's say Folsom, for some infraction or another. It was serious enough for them to stab him. Certainly we're only playing with weapons at this time. And remove him from the yard. Force him onto this filthy yard. After just a couple of years of being there on that filthy yard, Sneaky Cuz went home. And he was home for 5, 6, 7 years. So altogether, this is about 9 years since he had been removed from Folsom. He caught a case and came back to prison. I don't know what's in his mind. I can't relate. But I'm assuming, just conjecture on my part, but I'm going to assume that he was thinking people may have forgotten by now. It's been 9 years. A lot of those individuals have went home, transferred. Stuff has died down. There's a whole nother generation now. I can go back in there and I didn't really do nothing wrong anyway. You know, whatever his mind, whatever he was thinking, he said, I'm going to the Mainline. I caught another case. I'm going back to prison. And apparently the case was serious. They put him on a serious yard. So he's looking at, he has a lot of time. He doesn't want to do this time on his PC yard. He wants to be on the Mainline and be stomped down. He still considered himself a reputable individual. The whole 9 yards. So he figured, I'm going to come back to another Mainline. And again, something happens in Folsom, you get removed, have to go to a PC yard. And then, when you try to leave the PC yard and sneak your way back onto the Mainline, you go to Pelican Bay. You go to Corcoran or High Desert. You don't go back to the same prison, even though it's 7 or 8 years later, where you got removed from. You try to go somewhere else and sneak your way back onto the yard and redeem yourself and all this. Or in case it comes up, you be exposed. You like, well, he been on the yard putting in work. This doesn't matter. Once you go to a PC yard, again, we're talking about an absolute filthy yard, you certainly can't go back to the Mainline. It's over. They're keeping records. There's a record of your performance there in prison. You can't get away with this. Everyone that I know that have tried to sneak their way back onto the Mainline, and again, there have been a few, have been disposed of, exposed, and then disposed. They have never been successful. Sneaky Cuz comes on the yard and his homeboy says, I know him. But his own faction said, we'll confirm it. Let's be 100% sure. They had individuals working in the program office. At this time, the inmates ran the prisons. They told the individual there in the program office to pull up his paperwork, do the homework, and see what prison he was at before he caught this case. And if he was indeed on a PC yard, he has to go immediately. Not only that, apparently they didn't do a good job when they removed him the first time. Because he's trying to come back to the Mainline. He hasn't learned his lesson. He thinks things are sweet around here. But we're going to brutalize him so bad if this is true, where he will never want to return to a Mainline. He's going to stay. He's going to go PC and he's going to stay. The dude in the program office did his homework and came back with the information rapidly. Indeed, he was on a PC, y'all. Oh, he needs to go and he needs to go fast. The decision had already been made. The die was already cast. No hesitation was involved. No more investigation was needed. Sneaky Cuz had to return to where he came from. So they put 3 individuals on Sneaky Cuz. They waited until he came out to the yard. They made him feel comfortable as if they didn't know his dastardly secrets. They knew that he was hiding gruesome secrets of having lived on a filthy yard and paroled from one with chomos and wanted snitches. Okay. He made him feel like he was one of them to get him comfortable. When he came out to the yard and started walking around the track to meet up with his homies at a particular part of the yard, there were 3 individuals behind him, stalking him, hunting him. He didn't sense the danger, but I did. They were walking towards him rapidly, in unison. They're fumbling inside of their jackets, fumbling inside of their pants. They have their hands stuck in their pocket. And I said, it's on. They're about to get up on this guy and brutalize him viciously because they have already taken umbrage to the fact that he had the audacity and unmitigated gall to try to return to a mainline yard after having committed unforgivable crimes there on another yard. So much so that he had to be removed. Well, it was about to be hell to pay, and so they're walking up on him rapidly. They get up on Sneaky Cuz. He turns around, but it's too late. They withdraw their sharpened weapons and attack him relentlessly and without hesitation and with anger. Purely, this was an angry attack. Sneaky Cuz didn't stand a chance. He hit the ground promptly. They began to stomp on him, his face. I'm there. I bore witness. They're stomping him out until he was essentially unconscious out there on the yard. And then they got on him with the blickies, with the burners, and lit him up. Now, in Corcoran, they were shooting inmates, setting up fights and shooting down on the yard and killing inmates. The police, they were exposed. There was a whole investigation. I was there when some of this stuff was transpiring. So you have to be careful with some of these attacks. When they say get down, when they catch on, they being the gun towers on the yard who carry a Mini 14, these gun towers, and when they say get down, you may want to get down. When they point the gun at you, because everywhere it says no warning shots, and it's a big gun, it's like a chopper, just like this. They hold it just like this. It's a big old rifle. They looking down on you on the yard, and when they say get down, you may want to do that because they shoot to kill. Particularly at this juncture, they're in Corcoran. And so you have to do your work before they catch on. If it's a hit where he has to die, then you want to try to kill him before they say get out. In this case, they had time to brutalize Sneaky Cuz. On the ground, stomped out, unconscious, and now they're stabbing on him. He has no defense whatsoever. I indeed thought that he was going to die. The police did indeed say get out. Eventually, they caught on to what was going on, that this individual was on the yard unconscious and bleeding from head to toe. They did not get down immediately. They continued to stab him. They got a few more stabs off, and then they got out before they received a headshot messing around there in Corcoran. So they got out and they came. The nurses ran out there to the yard to try to save Sneaky Cuz, and they indeed saved his life. They're pumping on him. He was done. They may have brought him back to life. I thought that dude was dead out there. I swear. I thought he was dead the way they did him. I thought he was done, cooked, over with. But he didn't. He wasn't. He survived. Spent plenty of time in the hospital and had to relearn how to talk and all sort of stuff, from my understanding. He was in bad shape. He had almost died. And, again, this sort of thing does happen in prison. It's not super common, not prevalent, I would say, but it has happened, especially now with the 50-50 yards. People just like whatever. But back then, people were trying it because they wanted to get off of those 50 yards. Because these yards, they were over there with some filthy human beings. Some no good people. They like, nah, yeah, I can't take this. I'm not this guy, man. No, I'm not supposed to be here on this kind of yard. They trying to work their way back to the main line. Whatever their argument is, I should have never been removed. I didn't do anything. I should have never stabbed me, beat me up, or whatever, removed me from the yard. I'm coming back. 6 years ago, bro, I'm coming back. But no, you're not. You cannot come back. Once you go to a PC yard, you cannot return to the main line. I think some people have, and like I say, some people have tried it, but pretty much all instances that I know of has ended horrifically for them. Not something I would advise. Make a decision and stand on that. You're going to have to live with it. Make a decision beforehand. Excuse me. I'm still a little sick. But I got to still bring you the content, baby. Let me know what you think in the comments. Sneaky cuz he went down, tried to sneak back on the yard. He went home. He was out for some years. So I guess he was thinking, like I said, I don't know. I didn't talk to him. I don't know why he made the decision. Tell the police to put him back on the main line. I'm assuming he thought most of those dudes are gone. I'm going to go to a different prison. That was some small stuff anyway. Never should have happened. I never did anything wrong. Whatever his argument was in his mind to himself, whatever he said to himself to justify trying to crawl back onto that main line, I don't know. But he did. He tried to get back on there, but they recognized him quickly because prison is a small world. Everyone communicates. This was before the cell phones, but people were still communicating on a regular basis. It was still not too hard to communicate to get word to another prison. And there's going to be people with you on the yard that transferred to this other prison that you're now going to. That's just the way it is. Someone's going to recognize you that was on the yard with you from another prison, good or bad. They go, oh yeah, I was up there with him. I was up here with him. They're going to recognize you. Period. They recognize him quickly and said, what is this dude doing? Confirmed it and disposed of him viciously. Stay safe and stay free, people.